Hi, this is my review of Lamentations of the Flame Princess Death Love Doom. Death Love Doom is an adventure that is not very easy to run, not because it's really complex, it's because it has a lot of gory and sexual things. Warning, this review has a lot of spoilers. Well, as I was telling you, it's a really heavy adventure in terms of violence and sexual mutilations, and it's pretty much like a Clive Barker movie or novel. So you have to choose the right kind of players to present this adventure. Well, let me talk about the quality of the PDF. The PDF is pretty good. It has a good layout, and it has all sorts of good illustrations and details. But as I told you, there's a lot of gore in here and a lot of explicit sexual content. This is an illustration showing a bit of the gore. Here you can see like a little girl hanging from a chandelier, and her bones are all out of place, and her intestines are falling down. And let me show you a few more illustrations so you get the idea. This is a little kid. They replaced his limbs with pieces of clockwork, I think. And this is another kid right there with his intestines and bowels falling all over the place. And even a baby. So you can imagine that this adventure is really not for everyone. And there's a lot of sexual, some very explicit content. For example, let me show you. Oh my god, no. I'm going to keep this review as light as possible. I won't show the most gory and sexually explicit illustrations, but it's actually you can really understand how to run the adventure, because the layout is pretty good, and it has a lot of descriptions for the different rooms and the enemies and some traps. And that's one thing I really like about these Lamentations of the Flame Princess modules, that they give you a lot of interesting descriptions, but they don't give you flavor text, so you can create your own, give your own style or flavor to the way you run the adventure. And well, let's get into the content of the module. The story is basically this. There's this guy called Erasmus Foxlow, and he had a family, but he was kinda horny for the babysitter. He had this sexual desire towards her, but he couldn't find a way to express it without being unfaithful, and he had all these horny thoughts about her. So out of feelings of guilt, he bought a sort of necklace for his wife, but it turns out this is a cursed necklace that reacts to your dark emotions. So a lot of like nasty demons came out of the necklace and started taking control over the family. The spirit of the necklace, or the demon of the necklace, took control of the grandmother, and she's actually like the strongest and most dangerous antagonist in this adventure. She has 9 hit dice, and this an adventure for lower level characters, around first level, third level. So you can expect them to face off or defeat this possessed grandmother. And the other creatures took control of other family members, and they are all pretty much mutilated in all sorts of ways. This reminds me a lot of the work from Clive Barker, because there's a lot of mutilation and sexually explicit content. You know, like the Cenobites, when they are walking around with all this bodily, with these wounds, exposed tissue, and there's a lot of that in this adventure. And the interesting thing is that this adventure isn't really very complex. It's actually just a simple adventure of getting into the mansion, stealing what you can, and getting out of there alive. And there are very few traps. It's mostly atmospheric. The characters moving around the house and the estate's grounds, and just trying to figure out what's going on, and avoiding the different family members, because even though they are like possessed or controlled, they aren't actually evil. For example, the Erasmus may start attacking the party by shooting horrible things out of his penis, that's the kind of adventure we have here. And he's going to be asking for help, like, oh, save me, I have no control over this. And the characters are going to despair because there's actually not an easy way to save I don't think there's actually a way to save the family. They may try certain things like some healing magic and different spells, but they are pretty much doomed to be kept alive like some kind of mutilated aberration, because a lot of the family members have missing limbs and exposed innards and all sorts of gory things. And the traps are pretty interesting as well. They reminded me of the Death Frost Doom module, where a single trap or element brings a lot of undead creatures to life. So you have to play the atmosphere in this adventure. You can't just run this adventure as a dungeon crawl. You have to describe the mood and set the tone, and get your players really nervous about going into this mansion and not knowing what to expect. Well, actually, I really like this adventure, despite the thing that it's not very family friendly. It's a cool way to put more emphasis into the atmosphere and to face some interesting foes that are not only very obscene in their appearance, because some of them have very interesting abilities. For example, the grandmother, when she attacks you, she has a small chance of deforming or changing something in your character's body. Maybe she will grab the character's nose and put it in his buttocks or something like that. She has that supernatural ability. And overall, I recommend it if you like old school games or adventures, but you have you need a strong stomach to withstand all the horrors in this adventure. You can really set a really horrible theme with this adventure, and it's actually more of a horror game. Sure, you can joke around about the different mutilations and things that you see, but some people may get really disturbed by all the things that appear in this module. I also like it that with each adventure, Raggy gives you a small introduction about how he designed the adventure and what he was thinking and feeling at that time. It is obvious that this adventure was composed when he was feeling very, I don't know, he had so many negative thoughts like violence and sadness. So this adventure is a result of that struggle or inner turmoil. And as I told you, I actually think it's a good adventure, not for everyone, but if you have the right crowd, you should definitely run this module. Well, thanks for watching my video. If you have any comments or questions, please type them down and I will read them. See you later.